I'm very sorry I interrupted your Succession morning. I actually
No,
thought,
don't worry about it because it was fine. Because it's my Monday morning breakfast routine has been watching Succession
yeah,
and getting out of the way, and so it was like a longer episode than normal.
yeah,
So I was going, okay, now because I just stopped it just as they were sort of getting into the about to start. By the looks of it, the final bit. It was when Tom and Greg just had that little slap about in
oh,
the
it's
toilet.
so good.
That's when I cut it off. I thought, okay, because I'd already seen Shiv just march determinedly towards the camera. So I thought, okay, now's a good time to stop it. So it was perfect.
Yeah, that was I was really hoping you'd watch that, even just that little bit with Greg and Tom.
Yeah.
I honestly like those two spin-off show. That's it. I just want to see the Greg and Tom show now. That's it.
I would have loved it if Tom had slapped him and Greg just laid into him with the force of, a football ultra.
Yeah.
Just like, what? Smacks, bouncing his head off the snake, going, you've underestimated me
For four
me
series.
For 4 series. And now you've unleashed the beast.
Yeah, I've finished it. I've finished watching the episode, and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the shows I've actually. I always think that shows can't end. They don't know how to end. No one knows how to end the show these days.
They should know how to end, but
They should, but they don't. And Succession has done it. They've done it really well.
Good. That's good to know. Did you know what show that really ended well? The Americans.
Which one was? I don't think I've heard of that one.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's like there's 2 Russian spy sleeper agents
Right.
in America in the 1980s,
Okay.
and they're pretending to be American. They are married.
Yeah.
They have children,
Yeah.
but they're deep cover Soviet operatives. And across the road from them moves in a sort of FBI, Secret Service, counterintelligence spy person.
All right.
And I don't want to spoil the ending for you, but it's just such a good ending.
And has this been on TV quite recently?
Oh yeah, it finished a couple of years back.
Right. Okay.
But plow through it. Get
The Americans.
You will, yeah, the Americans. You'll love it. That was a series that obviously planned it from episode 1 and got it right. Because that Game of Thrones thing where they sort of rushed the last season because he hadn't finished the books.
Yeah, there's so many of them. They just don't know what to do with it. It's like they kind of shit the bed, right? But they got to go, shit, we need an exit strategy here.
Yeah.
They go, we'll just do that. And it's like, very rarely has it been done well. Have you ever watched Eastbound and Down
No.
with Danny McBride?
Danny McBride's one of those guys I just look at him and go,
Not a
not for
fan.
me. No.
Eastbound and Down is one of the most ridiculous endings to a show, and it's perfect. It fits with that show.
Okay.
It's one of the best endings I've seen on a TV show.
Yeah.
Because it just goes way off on a tangent. You're just not expecting it. It's the only way it could have ended, and it's just one of the funniest endings ever.
I was talking about this with Joe Heenan on our film podcast and stuff. It was Danny McBride is one of those guys who I really don't get on board with because he plays pricks very well.
Mm.
The other example I gave Joe is, you know the Karate Kid?
Yeah.
You know the guy who plays Johnny, the blonde bully?
Yeah,
who
yeah,
gets his head kicked in at the end against all the rules of the Karate Kid. I can't remember the name of the guy who plays him, but he played him so well. So every time I look at him, he's just, oh, you're a dick.
Yeah.
And I bet that ruined his career.
Oh, yeah. If you play a dick too well, it's like Joffrey.
Yeah.
Joffrey Baratheon.
Exactly.
Still gets hassled in the streets.
Never be a romantic lead.
Oh, God, no.
Everyone will want him to fail because he did a great job. That's
Yeah.
the injustice there.
Yeah, Danny McBride. I can see that because he does give very, like, prick hillbilly vibes.
Yeah. Have you seen The Righteous Gemstones? I
Yes.
saw the first season of that and I was just like, oh, God. There's lots of people in that I dislike.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That whole cast is so
Oh, it was
unlikable.
good. Yeah, it was a good show.
John Goodman.
Yeah. Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
The incredibly
He-
tonsured guy.
I don't know what I've seen him in before, but I love that guy. He is so good.
He's been in The Shield. He was good in The Shield.
Right, okay.
He was in Sons of Anarchy as well.
Ah, that's what I missed.
I haven't watched it, but I feel like I have because I've watched the clips on YouTube.
Right.
So I've seen the most violent bits of Sons of Anarchy and the ending. So I was like, I don't need to watch this show now.
Yeah.
And it's like 8 or 9 seasons or something. And I was like,
If
I'm not
it's-
wasting the time.
If it's had that many seasons, I can't get into a new thing if it's got that many seasons. I was like, I need to just have it 2 or 3 max.
I get that, but at the same time, I don't like starting something if I don't know if it's got a prescribed end date. That's why we were talking about this just before. I've only just started watching Barry.
Yeah.
and I've binged the whole thing. So the only one I haven't seen is the last episode, which I'm going to see today. But I've binged the whole thing in the past 2 weeks
Yeah.
because I want to know it is being completed. Because I've fallen for that before, where you go into shows and it's just like, oh yeah, it's not coming back.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking
There was
about?
one, I think it was The Watchmen, the HBO one.
Oh yes,
And
yes.
it was, the first series was incredible. And I was
liked
just
it.
like, oh, this is good. I
Yeah.
am into this. And then just suddenly out of the blue, it was just like, oh, it's not getting picked up again. I was like, how is that not getting picked up again?
Exactly. That's a perfect sort of adult comic book TV show.
Yeah.
And you fucked me on it again. And I thought The Watchmen, I've got to watch it. I know my rule, but I've got to watch it, and you fucked me on it.
Yeah.
So all these people going about, you've got to watch Yellow Jackets, you've got to watch
There's so many.
what's the other one, the H.P. Lovecraft one, Lovecraft County.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently, I was like, no, I can't watch it. And sure enough, some of them have just been
Have they been told? Yeah.
disappeared. Lovecraft County was after one season. And it was supposedly very good.
Yeah, I watched it. I then got about halfway through, and I was just like, it
Not
just
for
got.
you.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think I love original TV. It has
Yeah.
to be like anything kind of like. It's just like it's been done before. I'm just like, come on. I watched the thing Jury Duty. Have you heard of that one?
No.
It's this courtroom. It's meant to be a courtroom documentary,
Mm-hmm.
and it's everyone's an actor apart from one of the jury.
All right. Okay.
So they have.
So the jury has the swing vote. The jury has
So
the swing
he
vote.
all this mental stuff keeps happening in the case. They sequester the jury, so they have to stay in this hotel for a week.
Tell me the juror from the public thinks it's a real case.
He thinks it's 100% real.
No.
Yes.
Oh no, that's like mental torture.
Well, this is it's so it goes on for like 17 days. They're locked away, and it's wild because they obviously script all these things happening
Yeah.
in the hotel. And do you know James Marsden?
Yeah.
He's because it's set in Hollywood. He's one of the people that gets called up for the jury, so he's playing himself, and he's this kind of exaggerated version of himself who just keeps wanting to talk about this latest script, and he keeps like name dropping, and it's so funny.
That's just mental torture.
It is. It's excellent ending again though.
Because that juror's going to be thinking, I'm holding, if he's in, if that juror's worth their salt, they're going to be thinking, I'm holding someone's life in my hands here.
Yeah, it's like
I'm going to treat this with due reverence. If they find out it's just a fuck around,
yeah. I can't imagine that guy would have been fucked in the head at the end of this.
oh, there's going to be another mass shooting.
But I won't spoil anything, but they have picked this guy perfectly. They could not have picked a better guy.
So twitchy loader.
Yeah. There would have been so many people. And then he also, no, I can't say that. No, he can, it's episode 2, he gets made the foreperson of the jury.
Of course he does.
So then he has to then keep everyone in line. And obviously the other jurors don't want to be kept in line. So then the judge starts giving him shit. And I watched 8 episodes in a day. It's like half-hour episodes as well. Went right through it, and I was just like, that is exactly what I'm after.
The juror stands up and goes, my heart.
I'm not going to say anything, Stu, but you've essentially just guessed.
See, now you've sold it to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sitting there watching a horrible TV
Yeah.
because of that.
It's Amazon Prime.
I'm not paying
Today's
for Amazon.
podcast is sponsored by Amazon Prime.
Of course it is. So I've already paid for it with my
Yeah,
next
I keep
day
forgetting.
deliveries.
I keep forgetting you've even got that, but Amazon Prime, everybody.
Well, I've got Netflix primarily, and I've learned some horrible things about myself watching Netflix. Is that I will, if I'm in the house, I've got nothing planned, I'll sift through the menu, and there's like a true crime serial killer documentary. And I'm like, what's that? There's no point here. And I hate myself for watching it. I like the ones with the elements of investigation to it. So you must have seen Don't Fuck with Cats.
Yes, yeah.
Where it's like web sleuths tracking this guy down by saying, that type of radiator is only available in the Czech Republic. I love that kind of shit, man.
So you'd say you've got a film podcast with Joe
Yeah,
Heenan.
yeah.
What's the name of the podcast?
Stu and Joe's Big Dumb Film Show. We just talk abusive shit about, not abusive shit, we just talk daft stuff about movies.
What's the worst film you've seen in the last few years?
In the last few years,
Yeah.
God. Well, now I've got the discipline that if something's crap, I'll just turn it off.
Oh my! I wish
And I just erase it from my ever diminishing memory.
Yeah.
But I not in the last few years, but I'll tell you what my worst film I've ever seen
Okay, go for it.
still angers me.
I love this.
is Highlander 2: The Quickening. You've seen Highlander?
I've seen Highlander. I've not check in for the sequel.
No, don't. Don't. You'll hate yourself. Highlander is a great B movie, but I thought, wow, they're making a sequel. There's no need. It was a self-contained story. It must be a worthwhile sequel. No, it wasn't. It was an absolute disgrace of a film.
Really?
I went to see it in the cinema. And I cheerfully bounded up to the one for Highlander 2, please. And you could see the people behind the counter going, oh no. There you are.
Enjoy.
Like contractually. No, they didn't even say enjoy because they knew that would be the cherry on top of the sarcasm trifle.
Yeah.
There was me and some other people. And after about 20 minutes, you could hear everyone individually just go, fucking hell.
Yeah.
It was just, they're aliens now. They're aliens now. What bullshit is this? It was awful.
Did you walk out?
Film. No, fuck no. I stayed in there out of sheer bloody-minded defiance.
Oh, Christ.
Everyone in that cinema. There was about 15 of us.
And you
And we
all
just sat there.
stuck
Just sat separately. I didn't know any of these people. We were collectively known as the betrayed. We just sat there going, I'm going to see the end of this. Not in the hope that it's going to get better. It won't get better.
Yeah.
But I'm going to sit this through so that you know you've really hurt me with this film.
That is a betrayal.
Because of what went before, it's the single worst film experience I've ever had. And I've watched a lot of Katherine Heigl films.
Have you ever walked out of a film?
No,
You've
I
never
can't.
walked out?
Not that no, I don't think I have.
I think I've walked out of maybe 2. The Incredible Hulk. There was one film I dedicated an entire podcast episode to when I started out this podcast of how much I hated The French Dispatch by Wes Anderson.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, it was a bit... And I wish I'd walked out of that one.
Okay.
But I was with my friend who I thought was enjoying it. He was also hating it. He thought I was enjoying it.
No.
And it got to the end, and I went, I fucking hated that. And he went, oh, me too. Why didn't we walk out?
Just with the camera in front of you two, just like a Wes Anderson shot of both of you hating it simultaneously at the same time and not moving. It's cinema on cinema. It's layers, mate.
We both, I kept trying to make eye contact. We were, we're like, I kept going like that to him as to be like, is he gonna like? Because if he'd gone like, let's go, I just kept going like, and he just didn't look, and I was just like, all right, he's enjoying it, fair enough.
Yeah, that's everyone's telling me that the Grand Budapest Hotel is very good.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, you're one of them. You're telling me that's great. But I watched The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
That's his worst one.
That's awful. And I was just like, I'm done with him. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. So that same friend texted me last week to be like, hey, Wes Anderson's got a new film coming out. I can't think what it's called. He's like, are we going to trust this? Are we going to give it a go again? And I was just like, do you know what? He's done a few good ones. I'll give him one last chance.
Yeah.
If he fucks it up this time, he has lost a fan for life.
Yes, he's
Which
got
he
your
will
money.
be devastated
He's
about.
got your money now. So
was
what
just-
was one of your best recent cinema experiences?
Oh, good question, Stu. Good question.
I mean, in the cinema, not like at home.
Well, I went to see Beau is Afraid yesterday. It's a
Beau
new
is Afraid?
Joaquin Phoenix film.
Oh, yeah.
It's a director called Ari Aster,
Yes, I've heard the name.
who's apparently like, I don't know, he must be famous or something. I've never heard of
I've
him.
heard that. I couldn't tell you one of his
Went
films
that
off the top of my head.
3-hour film.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Better be worth it then.
it wasn't.
Oh, no.
What about you? What's the best one you've seen recently?
Cocaine Bear.
Oh, is it good?
It was spectacular because the title is Cocaine Bear. You know you're getting a B movie. There's no sort of artsy-fartsy examination of the human condition and the individual spirit resilience of people. But no, it's a bear on cocaine in the woods eating people.
Perfect.
One, please. I sat there, laughed my ass off.
Really?
I went with Mary Burke, this Irish comedian we know. And because when she comes to town, we'll always go to see something at the cinema. And we absolutely adored it. There weren't that many people in the screen, but right from the off, there were huge laugh out loud moments in it.
Ah, perfect.
And you know how difficult it is to make comedians laugh. That we were just in bits. It was so funny. And
I'll give it a go.
oh,
I don't know why I've not given it a go yet.
yeah, it's because you have it like me. You have an inner cinema snob that says,
Yeah.
yes, one for the Wes Anderson movie, please. I'd like to be emotionally challenged on a spiritual level.
Yeah.
And so you've got to give in to your lizard brain and go, I want a bear on drugs in the woods, please.
Oh, I've got the lizard brain. John Wick. You into John Wick?
Yes.
John Wick is probably my favorite. Well, that's probably the best film I've seen recently.
Okay.
John Wick 4
Right.
in the cinema. Holy shit.
Yeah, I bet it's really
There
good.
is some scenes in that are just like 20-minute long fight scenes, and you're just thinking,
Yeah.
this is incredible.
I bet. John Wick, for me, is a bit like a lasagna or something like that. It's like, I really enjoy lasagna, but I've got to be in the mood for it.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? So I will watch them. I think I've watched the first two.
I think 2 is, I genuinely think they peaked at 4.
Really?
4 is brilliant.
Yeah.
There's a scene in a hotel, I think it's in Tokyo, and it's just you honestly you think it's over, and it keeps going and
Yeah.
going and going, and you're like, oh my god, I love Keanu Reeves.
Do they have that guy that used to be? There's always sort of one person who's he used to be in James Bond films and stuff like that, where there's some massive fight in a hotel corridor and one of the doors open. It's just an old lady with a newspaper and a broom going, "What's going on out here?"
And they could have come back in, close the door.
Exactly. I want some normal guy just leaving his breakfast order and his shoes to be clean.
I think there is that. It does humour quite well as John Wick.
Cool.
Yeah, so I think that's probably been the best thing I've seen recently, because
Yeah.
it is just wild. Do you watch a lot of stand up on Netflix?
I do watch some, but it's kind of like being at work.
Yeah. Again, very rarely. I watch a lot of stand up.
Yeah.
Very rarely do ones that kind of jump out. But the best ones I've watched recently,
Yeah.
Nate Bargatze
Okay.
on Amazon Prime and John Mulaney,
Yes.
Baby J on Netflix. I've
Yes.
watched both of them multiple times now. Both
Right.
of them are like probably the best stand up I've seen this year.
Okay. I sort of like John Mulaney. Have not watched any Nate Bargatze.
Yeah.
Not watched any of him, but you're not the first person to recommend it. The ones I've been watching, John Mulaney is fine.
Well, I didn't like him before this. I
Yeah,
wasn't. I
okay.
didn't
All
really
right.
care about him, and then I watched this one, and I was like, "Oh shit, this guy's good."
Yeah. I like John Mulaney is one of those ones I'll listen to his clips on YouTube. And
Yeah.
there are a couple of sort of 3-minute bits that I really, really like.
Yeah,
But I watched this Radio City one where poor lad, he's got to stride up and down the stage because that's what he's got to do. He's got to fill the space. And I'm just going, yeah, okay,
that wouldn't be me.
nah. But yeah, I've turned down Radio City's invitation so many times.
I will not strut the stage.
Yeah, I've been getting into Tom Segura.
Love it. I saw him he was in Glasgow. a few
Yeah,
weeks
I
back.
didn't know that until it had happened.
Yeah.
I'm so pissed off. But the one I'm really into at the moment is Eliza Schlesinger.
I've never got into her.
No?
No. I've not even watched the second of her, so I don't know if I'd like her.
Yeah. Oh, no, I really enjoy
She's
it.
apparently massive in America, isn't
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
She's like around about 30-something, I suppose.
she? Right.
And she's sort of like, I don't want to say preaching a feminist creed, but she's certainly standing up for the voice of young women sort
Yeah.
of thing. And she's incredibly funny while she does it. It's not like she's leaving the men behind while she's talking about it. But she's got like 6 specials on Netflix and stuff.
Taylor Tomlinson. Have you ever heard of her?
Yes.
She's on Netflix, and she's. I think people compare the two of them quite regularly.
Yeah.
She's so funny, Taylor Tomlinson.
This is the problem though. Watching comedy on Netflix is just like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Now I've got to watch someone who makes me feel bad about the bullshit
Yeah.
I come out with.
Yeah, if I watch really good stand up, it makes me go away and like want to write better.
Yeah, exactly. And then I feel like I'm just like I'm writing in their voice now. This is, Norm Macdonald.
Yes.
I listen to so much of his stuff, but then I can't write for 2 days
Yeah.
because everything comes out in his cadence and his tone of voice.
Yeah. Noah McDonald's I think he's got a special called like Doing Stand Up or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
And it's one of the best.
Yeah.
It's so good. And I listen to a lot of like on Spotify. So I'll just be walking around and I just listen. And that's the one that get put on most is Noah McDonald. He's
but
so good.
I love that too, but I can't listen to it because then that's me fucked creatively for 2 days.
What made you get into stand up then?
I hated everything else in life. That's none of your fucking business.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Fuck
did-
you, Ralph.
Yeah, I promised I'd say that as one answer to one of your questions.
Let's do it to a few more, please.
You want the long story? You want the long story?
Go for it.
Right. I was.
Because I don't know. I normally do a bit of research on guests before they come on.
Yeah.
You're a ghost
I'm a
online,
ghost.
Stu.
Oh yeah, because
You
I'm
are a
too old.
ghost.
Too old. I don't know what's going on. My show's been in the wind for years. I do it and I disappear. I'm like a ninja.
Dude, have you seen
leaving
what's-
only laughter and tutting behind me.
Have you seen what's there's on you about the British Comedy Guide?
Is there something about me on the British Comedy Guide?
Hold on, it's
Am I on the British? Who the
hold
fuck
on.
wrote that?
okay. It
That's
just says
how old I am.
Stu Murphy is a stand-up comedian. Full stop.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Has it got my photo on it at
It
least?
doesn't have anything. It's got your credits.
Which are?
Stu Murphy debut coming soon.
Yes.
Monday Night Improv, Open Comedy Festival.
Oh God. that
The
was
Good, the
ages.
Bad, the Unexpected Series
Yes.
2, and then Stu and Gary's Fringe Improv Show 2018, 16, 13, and 12.
I've got so much more than that.
Yeah,
But it's all like, right. Let's start.
let's go.
Okay, so I'm there at Sunderland Polytechnic, which is a university now, which is its own tragedy. But I was there when it was a polytechnic, when it was rough and ready, and there were factions and gangs
Nice.
fighting for control of the university. And I was part of a business studies course, and we had to do this group presentation about a facet of business.
All right.
And there were loads of groups, and they all had their own facet. And ours was marketing. And it was one of those oppressively hot days. Here we are, we're the last group to go on. It had been like a 3-hour afternoon
All right.
of all these groups coming on, and every single motherfucking one of these people would go to the front of the the classroom,
Yeah.
and just go, I'm here to talk about one interesting aspect of personnel, and that's time management.
Oh, fuck.
The thing about time management is it can be make or break a business. Everything could make or break a business. And everyone was just like, fucking kill me now. Even the teachers were sitting there, fucking God.
Shoot me.
The sun is just pulsating through the windows. We are being slowly, like a rotisserie,
Cooked,
room
yeah.
full of rotisserie chickens in a window. And it's like, what? On like a car journey that will not end. And so I thought, fuck this. I just got to the end. I was the penultimate speaker in the last group talking about marketing. And I had my notes, and I essentially did 5 minutes off the top of my head about
Your first improv.
how Lucozade was not worth buying because it was a bottle of lies. Because they used to advertise it when we had all grown up as there's a child ill in bed.
Yeah.
Well, mother, I have the rabies or whatever. Don't worry, Lucozade will cure your noise.
Yeah.
And pour the Lucozade. And the next minute, he's running over hurdles and skipping through meadows, and he's fine. But now, at the time, now it's Daley Thompson. I've won an Olympic gold medal for the decathlon in Los Angeles because I drank Lucozade. And you didn't because you don't. And I was like, drink Lucozade, you fucking underachiever.
Yeah.
But when I started in that, everyone was like, "Huh?"
Right.
Perked up.
You bring the room to life.
Exactly. And I got so much like, well done and congratulations and great mark. And the poor guy after me, he just went, it was like, advertising can make or break a business. I was like, fucking hell.
Boo.
Yeah, exactly. But that, I was like, well, okay, if I can make a room come to life with just something I've made up, this is the kind of thing I
Wow.
want to do. So it was a couple of years after that that I started getting into, I moved to Edinburgh and started getting into stand-up.
Oh, cool. So you started here, yeah.
Yeah. But it was improv was my first love
Yeah.
rather than stand-up. I mean, I did try my hand early on at stand-up, but I preferred just making it up as I went along.
Yeah.
And so got involved with a group there, and it just went from there. So it doesn't surprise me that there's no reference to me on any
You
of the
are,
web,
yeah,
because 25 years, me and Gary doing the Sunday show, or me and Paul, and then me and Gary doing
Yeah.
the Sunday show, of just like a free show at the Stand Comedy Club. People would come in, and sit and, you know, watch the show that was just for them. It was never recorded. We never charged for it. And it got people to sing. It was well, it was a gateway drug for the stand, basically.
Right. Okay.
They come in, well, this is free, and they come in and see the place and go, oh, we'll come back here, sort of thing. And also, it was valuable stage time. You know how valuable
God,
stage
yeah.
time is when you're starting out.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many mistakes made on that stage,
Yeah.
and so many great times as well. We still
Any horrific shows stand out in your mind?
no, because I've lost my memory of most of them. This is the tragic thing. You could ask me to write my own entry on that, and we're going like, Stuart Murphy as a comedian. Nailed it.
Done.
Nailed it. I don't know what else to say. Everyone has their own memory. People occasionally still do come up to me in the street and stuff. It's like, yeah, the guy from the Sundays thing, yes. Me and the wife, we came to see you when we were just dating, sort of thing. You did a scene about a horse.
And you go, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like the kind of thing I do. I'm glad you remember. Yeah, it was funny as fuck. We still talk about the horse. And I'm like,
Yeah, cool. Yeah, me
cool.
too.
Yeah, it lives here in the filing cabinet under H and under W. From what the fuck are you talking about? It's just like, yeah, so many things.
I suppose if you've done them that many times, it's just going to be
Yeah.
fucking forgotten.
What we became more and more guilty of, and what I enjoyed more and more, is that we would go on stage for the first third of the show, which is supposed to be half an hour. And like the two games we'd play would take like 8 minutes, and the first 22 minutes would just be us ripping the piss out of each other and taking the piss out of the audience. It was fun.
It's because is that helping grow in popularity because of the chemistry?
Yeah, absolutely. The back and forth shorthand was incredibly fast and funny, and we always played it like the stand didn't know we were there, because it was Sunday afternoon. Everyone who runs the stand is off doing other things or in bed from last night. So
Yeah.
we were just like, we can say what we like, we can finish when we want.
Oh, perfect.
There we are.
Yeah, bar staff. Wait.
Yeah. Oh, the bar staff got horribly ridiculed by us often. It's like friends. One, because it was also where they'd send people to train on tech and do their first tech.
Oh, right.
So you can do it at the free show, and then we'll put you in you'll work your way up to teching weekend shows, maybe, sort of thing. It's okay. But as soon as they fuck up, it's like, you're fired, get out. You'll
You'll never see the light of day again.
Eastern European hellhole you came from. Like that. Horrible things.
Fuck. And so I'm guessing that the years of improv just makes you natural MC. Just makes you can.
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
It
gotcha.
doesn't hurt. Yeah. I mean, last night I was hosting at the Monkey Barrel Sunday night show. And first show, fine. Second show was okay. It was fine. But there was a huge stag group in.
Oh,
And
fuck.
they could have been a lot worse than they were.
Yeah.
But they started off pretty bad until I took the piss out of them and slapped them down.
What did you say to them?
Well, they said, we're a stag do. And I said, look at you in your matching shirts, you weak-willed wanks. It's like, you call that a stag do? You've come to the comedy. What did you do in an escape room earlier? It's not a stag group unless there's a dead whore in your afternoon. We've got plenty of them down at Leithdocks. Just pick an old one. And just taking the piss out of them. And it just went on and on and on. And then after a couple of minutes of that, it was just like, yeah, okay, well, it was nice. Sorry. A stag do.
Yeah. I guess you can handle the stag do's fairly easily.
It depends on the stag do, but I don't relish it.
Yeah, no, it does.
I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the performative thing, the performative insulter.
But
I
that's
want
the
to
thing,
be able to make sure everyone has a good time.
I think people see like the stag do's as the big challenge, but it's normally the biggest problems are one or two individual people in an audience.
Yeah.
They are probably the worst. Like
Yeah.
the too drunk people, or the people that just think the show is for them.
Absolutely, the thing's a conversation.
Yeah,
That's
the
why
people in the
cocaine
front
at
row.
comedy clubs is such a bad idea.
Oh God, people that sit in the front row that just respond every little
Yeah.
gap. Although to be fair, it happened to me. In fact, was that at Spandex? I literally said, "Oh, my girlfriend said," and I left a pause.
Yeah.
No, in fact, it was in Aberdeen. I left a gap, for just to kind of build the tension. I went,
Oh, that's a minefield on its own.
Yeah.
Big risk trying to build the tension by leaving a gap. Yeah.
left,
Fuck you for leaving a gap.
Left a
Creating
gap.
dramatic license.
left a gap, and normally it's like a 2 seconds, and I go, and now my girlfriend says, and a guy at the back of the room just went, "You're a cunt," and the whole audience like pissed themselves.
Really?
And I was just like, fuck. I was just like, you know, when the audience like completely gets you.
Yeah.
And and I tried to then be like, who was that? Which one was it? And he just went quiet, and he won. He won because I couldn't find him.
The thing I hate the most is when you get heckled by someone, usually in a small group. They'll say something completely crap like that.
Yeah.
Can't burn, shows your tits, man. Whatever. And then you'll see them shout it. You look at them and say, what was that? I genuinely didn't hear. And so get them to repeat it. And so then you can bounce off them like that. And they just look at you and go, and point to
Yeah.
their mate.
Yeah, that's
And
exactly
that's
what.
just you fucking coward.
There's two guys both pointing at each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, which one of you was it? Come on, just admit it. And they both were very convincing it was the other one.
Yeah.
And I was like, you fucking bastards.
Yeah.
And then I tried to do what the actual punchline was. And I went, this isn't going to work now. And sure enough, it didn't. And I went, well done. Fucking idiot in the crowd.
You know what? There was some nights I just cannot be asked with it. And so there was one guy, I was doing this thing I'd sometimes do, you've seen it, where I go up and do things I look like.
Yeah, brilliant bit.
Thank you. And someone had shouted out, as they have before, Jack Black. And I go, okay, Jack Black. And then his mate said, yeah, whispered something to his mate, but loud enough to disturb his sound. I was like, oh, what did you say? What was that? I'm sorry. Didn't hear. Good. And he said, yeah, you look like Jack Black. It's a tenacious dickhead. And I was like, you calling me a dickhead? And it's just sort of, like now, it just sort of killed the atmosphere. I was like, do you know what? Fuck this. I'm driving this gig. If this gig's going down, I'm going to get something big. I'm going to land nose first on the deck of this battleship. I will kill this gig. I don't give a fuck. I'm getting paid. I've done my time.
That's what I love about you hosting. You don't give a fuck.
No. But also, this is why I don't remember any of the stuff, and there's no listing for me of these things, is because the stuff I tend to do when hosting, and certainly when improv, that's just for us.
Yeah.
That's just for us.
Come on.
You made the effort to come here. Now we're going to have a better thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I did it last night when I was hosting at the Monkey Barrel. It was just like, okay, that was this person talking about it, and now let's have a little laugh about them.
Yeah.
John Agersild was on.
Mm-hmm.
He's a decent young up-and-comer. And he went on, did his 10 minutes with great aplomb. And you know what he looks like. I said, there you are, John Agersild. Very nice guy. I'm thinking the same as you. If he's here, who's teaching special needs children about religion? Because he has that sort of substitute
He does have a
narc teacher vibe, you know? Perfect. I'd say it to his face. In fact, he had to rush off, so I kind of hope he heard it, because I don't want him to be, I think I'll watch Ralph Brown's podcast. And just, the fuck?
Never knew that.
I never knew that. Well, there's only one way out of this.
It is good when I like it when the host picks on the acts at Red Raw as well, or Free for All, or anything like that. It has to be done. And when the acts go like, oh, you can't say that, it's just like, come on.
You've got to be honest. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I've had a couple of compares, and certainly wannabe compares, coming up to me and going, I love when you do Red Raw and you take the piss out of the acts. And I was like, okay. But you know that's not the point of it.
Yeah.
That's just, you've got to be real to the room.
Yeah, you can't be like, that was funny.
Yeah, because it wasn't.
You have to earn their trust. And
Yeah.
if you come out after someone's died on their arse and go, give it up for that person, they'll go, they thought that was
Were
good.
you even watching it? That's why I
Yeah.
watch them more from the side.
Yeah.
Because they might make a joke towards the end, which prompts a joke from me, and then we
Yeah.
all have a laugh, and it's a bespoke evening.
Yeah.
But there was one night years ago, myself and Gary were at Red Raw, and Tommy, the owner of the club, was there, so we were having a drink with him, just having a laugh, and we were all a bit pissed. And that's exactly what happened. The compare went up. I won't name them. The compare went up after someone, they hadn't watched them.
Right.
Someone went up, died on their hoop, just did not funny material. It was awful. They went on and said, well, weren't they great? Let's get the next great act on. And I was going, come on, you know better than that.
Yeah.
So I confronted Tommy and said, Tommy, I can do this bullshit. And said, and Gary's there, going, yeah, if he hosts, I'll do 5 minutes. And he went, all right, you're hosting and you're doing 5 minutes next week. And I say, well
shit.
done, Tommy, bluff calls. And that's how it started for me.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I just went on, and it was that honesty. That
Yeah.
honesty has served me well.
Yeah. You have to be. You can't. I think you have to. You have to watch as well.
Oh yeah,
Especially a professional night. You can probably just sit and relax.
Yeah.
You can listen. Like they're laughing. That's fine.
yeah.
You don't have to then go out and well, he was talking about that.
Yeah, well, often if it's a professional night, you've probably seen some of the routines before. You've
Yeah.
certainly worked with some of the comics before, so you don't need to go and see them again.
No. You need to watch.
And
be
they're
like,
not offended if you don't.
No, God, no. That's the thing. I think you kind of get to the stage. I used to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I've got to duck out. I've got work in the morning," and you, no one give a fuck.
Yeah,
no one gives
exactly.
a shit.
I kind of get if you're doubling up that you might miss the beginning of the show. I always like to be there for the beginning of the show.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, you don't want to be the headliner that goes on and then says, "Hey, what's your name? What do you do?" to some guy who's been asked twice.
yeah. That's happened recently. The
Yeah.
audience just goes, "Hey."
Yeah, we know.
We all know
Especially when
this
you make
guy.
the same or a worse joke that someone has
yeah.
done before.
Oh, you're from America? Yeah, I know about America. Yeah,
Yeah, it's been done. It's been
yeah,
done. But yeah, going up, listening, and being honest. That's what I enjoy about it, and that's what I hope comes through when I'm hosting, especially.
yeah.
Because I don't want to be the guy who's just known for insulting acts. There was a Monday night, a couple of weeks back, I was hosting a Red Raw, and it was perfectly lovely Red Raw. There was one guy who did not go down well.
Okay,
But to be fair, he was performing in his second language,
okay.
and he was he made a mistake. A lot of beginning acts do. They'll set up a joke, they'll do a punchline, and then that'll be it. There's no add-ons, like there's no what's the implication of this sort of thing?
Yeah,
What can I branch out of and expand on this? None of that. It was just like bit.
yeah,
There we are. But it was in his second language, so his timing was off, his cadence was wrong. You can't blame him for any of it.
fair.
But he very, very cool reception, a polite round of applause off. And all I had to do after that was I knew I would have to do it because he was like third or fourth on, and everyone up to that point had been good, or at the very least, perfectly acceptable.
Yeah,
I went on stage and just sort of stood there and looked at the audience and sort of looking around, nodding at them all. As their little conversations finished, they all looked back at me in their own time, and sort of a knowing laugh rippled around the room and said, "Well, I warned you. I told you at the very start what this night was, and you didn't believe me. You were playing it fast and loose, thinking quality would just happen. Well, you were wrong." And I got him another round of applause because he was performing in his second language.
Yeah.
It is very brave to get up on that stage and put
Yeah.
yourself out there. That's fine. But I don't want to be known as the comedian who just goes out and insults the acts. You know this. Let me quickly tell you this about the story that sort of propelled me to anonymity on a massive scale, which never named me, because I went down and hosted a Harry Potter show. And
this is brilliant.
did what I always do,
Yeah.
which is, a bit of friendly banter with the crowd. And as is normal, and absolutely true, I have never read a Harry Potter book, never seen a Harry Potter film.
Yeah.
The audience, by that point, prepped to it, just sort of like, ooh, pantomime gasp.
Yeah.
And I went, yeah, you can suck my balls.
Brilliant.
And that little story, because some woman complained about it to the local paper, hit the national papers and Twitter, and also became massive.
Daily Mail headline.
Daily Mail headline. You put Daily Mail suck my balls. It's my story, you'll see. Though I am not named in it at all.
Perfect.
I have danced through the raindrops of that little shitstorm. But I've had a couple of people say to me, who I know, who know, hey, it's the suck my balls man. It's not, please, no. Don't call
That's
me
you.
the suck
That
my
is
balls
you.
name. No, that's worse. A friend of mine is a comedian from the Northeast. I saw him the other night. We were just having a drink, and he was on at the stand, and then he tweeted afterwards. He was like, "Thanks for the stand for a great weekend and all these acts." And what a bonus to see my old friend Mr. Lick My Balls myself. I'm like,
That's
first of all, it's not the name. Second of all, that is the name. You wouldn't give that name to a whore.
Lick my balls. You misread that.
You know what? I want a game show out of that name, if
Yeah.
nothing else. Welcome, it's Mr. Lick My Balls himself. It's 3:00 on a Tuesday. It can mean only one thing. Lick my balls for prizes. What's your name? Rhonda. Where are you from? Wales. How old are you? 63. Get down on your knees and lick the big balls to see what... Pick a pube. Let's pull out the pube and see what your prize is. It's a colour television, Rhonda. Rhonda, wake up.
You're dead, Rhonda.
Okay, another fatality on Lick My Balls. Do you know what? I'd take that.
Yeah,
Take
I
that
mean,
and run
it's
with
a
it,
hell of a name.
isn't it? Yeah, let's see Susan Calvin compete with that in the afternoon quiz show stakes.
Oh, that's so funny, man. It's quite funny. Are you glad? Is there any part of you that wanted to be named in it? Because then it could be like a wee bit of extra, like PR for the Fringe show, help shift a bit of tickets. You'd be like, I'm the guy who said suck my balls.
Yeah, but then they're going to expect that nothing else.
Could be.
You know, one of the guys in the main Twitter thread, one of the other members of the troupe was named in it. And they
really?
had tabloid journalists phoning him and his agent for comment. I mean, the troupe themselves had to put out a comment.
Did they actually? I've not seen that.
Yeah, they had to put out a statement. And I didn't have anything to do with that. I was not approached by anyone because I wasn't named. I apologized to Paul for the intrusion on his life. He was fine with it, but it was still a hassle on the day. I mean, it was a 24-hour shitstorm. That's all it was. We knew we knew it would end. But I was listening to a show that's on his website by Daniel Kitson.
Yes.
He's a fantastic comic. I always enjoy watching him. And it's from a show from way back. He did The Fringe. And he was talking about him developing material for his show.
Mm-hmm.
And so how sometimes it's a thankless task. I'm paraphrasing him now. He just says something like, you spend all your time trying to craft routines about the human condition and how it affects us all, and there's something everyone can latch onto. And someone will come up to you after the show and say, I like the bit where you said cunt twice.
Yes.
Just think, oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the way.
I don't want to be doing a Fringe show for 58 minutes as people just sit there going,
When's he going to say suck my balls?
yeah, I haven't seen everything.
Say it.
Suck my balls. Yay! Filming me and saying it in the street and stuff. Can you say suck my balls to my kids? No. Do you know what? The worst thing is there was much worse stuff in that show.
Oh, really?
to come. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What was the worst part of that show then?
Well, the entire story ended with Snape and Moaning Myrtle making defecation porn for the OnlyFans. So, thank fuck the Daily Mail didn't write about that.
And did the complainers, did they walk out so they didn't see that?
Apparently, they walked out.
What?
According to the Daily Mail, of course, she stormed out and chaos ensued. None of that happened.
Yeah.
We spoke, between you and me, we spoke to the venue. Apparently, she was not a particularly nice person. She was rude to the staff. The people around her didn't like her particularly. And they told us, because in the local paper there's a photo of her smiling in a cloak and a wand, pointing
Yeah.
at the sign of the cathedral. Because of the doors she stood in front of, those doors would have been open all day when there's a performance on. So she had to come back the next day,
Oh,
put
God.
a cloak on, put a wand on, presumably through a pissed off hangover.
Oh, the local paper getting people to do those photos of like, I'm not happy.
Yes.
I'm not happy.
I saw it on Reddit under a thing called subreddit called Compo Face. It's just
Compo
like-
face. Yeah, Compo face.
It's like, I bought a pizza and there was no mushrooms on it at all. That sort of thing.
So,
Yeah.
wow. I mean, imagine just putting yourself out there to the local paper.
Never
for
approached us.
Something
Never
like
approached the
that.
venue.
Yeah.
She actually complained to the venue eventually, and they didn't give her her money back,
Fuck you.
but they compromised. They gave her tickets to another show, a Jeeves and Worcester show, in October.
Oh, Christ.
And I hope two things. I hope she wears a cloak, and I hope it's called Suck My Balls Jeeves.
Is there more spontaneous pot shows coming up?
Yes.
Are you still involved?
Yeah. Yes, they'll just drag me out at the end and prod me until I say Suck My Balls.
Are you going to bring it up?
off.
Guessing it.
No, because
I suppose you don't want to detract from the show.
that's how I always open the show. The only thing is, I was hosting that day because Will Name, MC Hammersmith, who normally hosts the shows, couldn't do it that day, as it turned out. So I took over hosting duties. So normally he hosts, does all the setup, which I did too, but then he singles me out. And I say, I've never seen Harry Potter. Sometimes, depending on the level of pantomime response from the audience, I will say, suck my balls. Especially if it's a bit after a kid's show where I've been like, hi kids, we're going to have a good time. And it's like, yeah.
Not today.
Yeah. But, yeah, so I did it myself. And sometimes I will, just flip them off in a laughing way. It's all fun.
Yeah. Everyone can take a joke apart from that one person.
Apart from that, she's the first one to complain, and it will happen again.
Oh,
That's
God, yeah.
Not complaints, people who can take a joke. I'd say suck my balls the way Santa would say it.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, is that going to be added to your Fringe show then?
What, the horrible image of a child sitting on Santa's knee while he says suck my balls? No, I don't think so. I may tell the story. Tell the story.
Not that part, Stu. Not that part.
That's horrific images from your childhood. Will that be at my Fringe show?
Yeah.
Golden memories shattered in a veil of tears. Why not? Come one, come all.
So you're doing debut.
I'm doing debut. Yes.
Called Debut.
Called
After
Debut.
the Bjork album
It's
debut.
called debut because that's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
And then I thought to myself, wait a minute. I've got a face swap app. This could be a cheap poster idea. And there you are. So, yeah, debut, 11:30 at night at the Tron, just up from Monkey Barrel,
Just right up the street.
right in the centre of town. I asked them for the smallest room because I've never done an hour of solo stand-up before.
Oh, really?
Never. I've done so many improv shows at the Fringe, so many group sketch shows at the Fringe, but never. I've hosted Fringe shows and what have you, and late night stuff. Never done a solo hour before. So every year it catches me out. Every year I'm just thinking, oh God, it's just too late to do it now.
Yeah.
So I committed early. Yeah. And so I've been writing lots of stuff, performing some of it at Spandex and going, this will work. And then going, no, this doesn't work. Oh, fuck.
No, but I think that the Harry Potter bit in itself is,
Yeah, exactly.
the comment section especially is
Comment
hilarious.
section was just bizarre. If ever you want to see the right wing just tear themselves apart over nothing, read the Daily Mail comments now.
It's so good. I love a comment section.
It's worrying because these people vote and they vote early.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know, they know their mind.
Yeah. They know what they're voting for.
Exactly.
Right.
One of the, you know this, you've seen the routine. One of the comments came from someone called Boris Johnson. I really hope it was him.
I'd love it if it was.
Yeah. His comment was, "Sucking balls isn't as erotic as you think. You know, it's actually quite painful." So there's nothing in there to suggest it's not Boris Johnson.
It could be.
He's got a lot of time on his hands to read the Daily Mail now.
And it sounds like something he would be into.
Oh yeah, so having tried it, sucked by many people. One visits a lot of foreign countries and is welcomed in various ways.
Well, thanks very much for coming in, Stu.
Yeah, thank you. It was
Thank you very
lovely.
much. Before you go, there is one last part of the podcast.
Okay.
You get to suggest a guest I need to try and get on for a future episode. It can be a comedian. It can be anyone you think would make a good podcast guest, and I will try and get them on. Anyone. Who would you think is like one of your favourites in Scotland?
Oh God, now you're asking. Well, last night Roscoe McClelland.
Yes, actually, yeah, good shout actually.
Yeah, because Roscoe's always fun to watch, but as is often the case, when I'm hosting and he's on, his energy and his personality is so it's like the second stage rocket firing in a shuttle launch.
Yeah.
Everyone's like climbing, and then he gets on stage and it takes it up to a whole other level. And he's very, very funny.
I love watching Roscoe. He is just like he's one of the ones I watch and I go, fucking hell, I'm not funny.
Yeah, but that's it. That's what we're saying about writing in other people's voices.
Yeah.
You've got to write in your own voice, and your funny grows from there.
Yeah.
You can't take a sunflower seed and grow a rose.
That's
You know
true.
what I mean?
I
You've
always
just got to be the best sunflower you can be.
Yeah. I always try. It's his energy. I see his energy and I go, fuck, I need to be more like that.
Yeah.
But that you can't compete with that. You can't. Well, not even compete. You can't match that.
No,
He's a very special level of energy.
absolutely. And audiences look at it and go, "Nah, you're faking it,"
Yeah.
and they won't buy you.
And that's not me natural.
Yeah.
Me natural is just kind of maybe a little bit, but No, Roscoe. You know, excellent suggestion.
Yeah, so that's my
Excellent suggestion. Roscoe, I'm coming for you.
Yeah. Or have a woman.
There's been a few.
Has there?
Yeah, there's been many.
Really?
Name a woman in Scottish comedy she's been on.
That's where we should end the show. Just an awkward fade out into silence. As both of us struggle to name any woman in Scottish.
Or you've just gone, go fuck yourself, Ralph.
Elaine Malcolmson. There you are.
No, I don't know.
There you are.
There we go.
Elaine Malcolmson. Very funny, very witty.
I'll
She's
get Elaine on.
Writer and comedian. And I don't mean writer as in she writes her own stand-up. As in she writes stuff for radio and what have you and other people.
Perfect. Elaine and Roscoe, we'll take a double.
Yeah.
We'll take a double. Stu, thank you very much for coming,
Thank
man.
you, Ralph. It's
Thank you
been
very
fun.
much. Cheers, man.
Bye.
Bye-bye.